Hi guys, we're going to do a vlog today on farriery. So farrier is the guy who looks after your horse's feet. On a Monday every 6 weeks our farrier comes to the yard and goes through all our horses. We don't have that many horses in the yard, and Ian's got quite a big team of guys that help him out. So each guy's got his horses that he does and his horses that he's used to, and then Ian does all the shoeing. So we're going to have a look and have a chat to Ian about how he looks after specifically my horse. Let's have a look. So you'll see the appy picks up the hind leg goes on top of his leg. He then uses a clinch cutter and a nylon hammer, and this loosens the clinches that are currently keeping the shoe in the foot. And you do this so that when you do pull the shoe off, that you don't rip the whole foot apart. He just goes literally nail by nail until they are loose enough. And now what he does is he takes a shoe puller and pulls the shoe down from heel to toe. This just helps the nails that he has unclinched to release. And now the nails that do come out, he takes the same shoe puller and he pulls those nails out. And you'll see all the nails on the inside are out. And he leaves normally one nail on the shoe just to keep the shoe stable, and then pulls the entire shoe off the foot. Now he uses a hoof knife to just clean away pieces of horn that he can see. And he also cleans up the frog a little bit. This just makes it easier for the next guy who's going to actually shape the foot to really get in there. Right, here comes Patrick, and now Patrick shapes the foot. You'll notice he uses two different types of hoof knives. The one to really get into the frog area and make it clean, and to make sure that all the dead horn is cut away so that the horse doesn't get thrush. Then he uses a different hoof knife to shape the foot, and he just goes little bits by little bits by little bits. And you'll notice every now and again he stops, looks, changes a tool, and then rebalances the foot. When he's happy, he takes the nippers and he cuts away around about 3 to 5 millimeters of horn. And he just does this slowly, little bit by little bit, going around the wall of the foot. For those of you wondering, this doesn't hurt a horse. It's similar to cutting your nails. There is obviously a point that if you cut too much horn off, that you are going to hurt the horse, just like you would with your own nails. But you can see Danny's not flinching. He's just very calmly standing, which is generally a very good indication that he's not in any sort of pain. You'll notice Patrick there at one point pushed down. Danny has got white feet and they do sometimes get a little bit bruised, so he's just checking on that little red line that you can see there that the horse is not hurt. Sometimes when horses do bruise their feet, they can get abscesses in those areas, and by Patrick pushing down with his finger on that line, he's just checking that there's no tenderness and that it's just general wear and tear. Obviously horses with black feet, you wouldn't see the bruising. Horses with white feet, you do. It doesn't mean that black feet don't bruise, it's just you can't see them. You'll notice with this hoof rasp, there's two sides to it. There's a file side and then there's a rasp side. And Patrick just uses this to shape the foot, and you'll notice he stops, looks, makes sure he's got the balance, pulls the foot back up again, carries on with where he is. Changes angles, changes the angle of the foot, and you'll notice he goes quite slowly. This is the advantage of being in a yard with a small number of horses and having a group of farriers that I think there's about 5 guys that do this type of work with Ian. And it means each guy can really take his time, really do the horse properly, and make sure that your horse is as sound as possible for your horse. You'll notice Danny has got a very thick wall. He's got very strong feet. He doesn't have any glaring conformation faults. This does make him quite easy to shoe. And I know there's quite a big myth going around that horses with white feet don't have strong feet. Well, here is the proof in the pudding that it's absolutely not the truth. I often get asked why I shoe Danny when he does have quite good conformation and he's got strong feet. The simple answer to that is he is a medium dressage horse. He does do a lot of fitness work. He does go out on the roads, and he does get bruised on his feet, where we find that if we have a full set of shoes on, it just makes life a lot easier. You'll notice now after Patrick shaped the foot, he puts it down and makes sure that what he sees he's happy with. If he's not, he'll pick it back up and change whatever he needs to change. And this is the same process with the front foot. You'll notice he does take a little bit of the old wall off on the outside, just to make sure that anything that is dead and that doesn't need to be there is taken away. And again, he changes angles. He'll put the foot on the one side and then on the other side. So this is Ian. Ian does the actual shoeing. We do hot shoeing, which you'll see when you put the shoe on the foot. Because the shoe is piping hot, it now burns away any of that horn that you don't want there. So he'll put the shoe on, and then he'll just gently tug away with his hoof knife at any bits of horn that are seriously burned, so that the foot and the shoe are absolutely flush with each other. You can't always hot shoe horses. I had a conversation with Ian, and Ian said, look, some horses have very thin soles, and then you wouldn't be able to hot shoe them. You'd have to cold shoe them. However, he prefers hot shoeing because you get this really, really snug, correct fit. You'll notice that the shoe is the shape of Danny's foot, not the other way around. So what Ian does is he makes sure that the shoe is shaped to Danny's foot, and now he just takes away any bits of horn that could impact the fitting of the shoe. He doesn't take the foot and try and shape it to the shoe. Obviously, he's not touching it because it's a very, very hot. And again, you'll notice Ian takes his time. He goes quite slow. He just fits it, checks, tries to make sure that the fit is as good as he wants it to be. And here we actually had a situation where we almost had no work to do on that foot. We put the shoe on and it just absolutely fit perfectly. So now that the shoe is fit to that foot and the horn that could impact the fitting has been burned away, he double checks the fitting. He double checks that there's nothing that he doesn't like, nothing that still needs to be taken away. And now what he'll start doing is he'll start putting the nails into the shoe so that the shoe stays on the foot. Ian's got this really cool armband. It's magnetic, so he whacks a couple of nails on there to make sure he doesn't have to stretch around. And inside toe first, puts the nail in, and you'll notice that he turns with the hammer the last little bit of nail on the outside. Again, you can see Danny's not pulling around, he's not pulling his foot back, so we are not actually hurting him. We are putting the nail into a part of the hoof that is similar to your nails. It's not sore. And now you'll see that Ian actually pulls that nail out because he's not happy with the fit. Ian's very, very pedantic, which is why I love using him. You'll notice when we're done that all the nails are exactly on the same line. Now you had a problem here because now you've created a line that the nail wants to go in, which he's not happy with. So what he did is he then went on and nailed a different nail in, and then completely changed the angle of that nail that he put in there, and now he seems much happier. And now he'll go to the outside and just repeat the process. And again, when you're not exactly happy with where the nail goes, he simply pulls it out, And either if he's still happy to keep using the same nail, he'll use the same nail. Otherwise, he will use a new nail if he's worried that the nail's bent or that it's not sharp enough to go in. Okay, so now all those nails are in. Now what Ian does is he hammers down on the nail against either a nipper or a shoe puller, and that just makes sure that the nails are properly in, and that, see, again, Ian's had a moment. He decides that nail's not exactly where he wants it to be, it's not stable enough, it's not at the right angle, pulls it out, does it again. There we go. And double checks the balance before he puts the foot down and goes to the next foot. Right, so now when you've put all 4 shoes on, the guy who pulled the shoes off generally comes back and he finishes the foot. So he starts by using a rasp to just neaten everything up. Then he uses a hoof knife to just create a bit of a clinch seat. Now he uses a hoof clincher and he clinches the nails down, and this makes sure that those shoes stay put. And again, he'll rasp the shoe neatly. The rest of the hoof, he'll make sure that the nails that are now clinched are flat. And this rasp, just like the other one, has got a coarse side and a fine side, a rasp and a file. And depending on what he wants to do, he'll use the one side, then the other side. You'll notice that the nails or the holes of the previous shoeing's nails are now quite glaringly open. In Cape Town, especially in the winter months, this can be a bit of a problem because moisture gets trapped in there, and sometimes if you're not careful it can have a negative effect. So here he is using a buffer to sand and get the foot with a nice finish. And you'll notice that now he uses clay. You can either use a hoof clay or even wood or plumber's putty. And he fills those holes to make sure that they don't get moisture trapped inside. Again, you clench the nails, you file them flat. Create a little seat for that clench to sit in. And then re-clench them to make sure that they're nice and snug and tight. Then you file off the rest of the metal to make sure that horses don't catch themselves on anything, and then buff it up. You'll notice that Danny's foot is on a hoof stand. Some farriers don't use them, some do. It's absolutely up to the farrier. And then again, some putty into those holes to make sure that the holes are sealed. And then we put some nail polish on. So the horses have 2 coats, or get 2 coats of hoof varnish on it. This is a protective coat, so it seals the hoof and it moisturizes the hoof all at the same time. You put the first coat on, feet go down, feet get dry, and then before the horses get let go off again, they get a second coat just to finish everything off nicely. Okay guys, so now you've kind of seen what goes into doing Danny's feet. So you would have noticed that there are 3 different people that work on his feet. So the first guy strips the feet, so he pulls off the old shoes and just kind of gives them a quick clean. And then today Patrick worked on his feet, shaping them, getting them nice and sturdy and aligned and straight. And then Ian Pope did the actual farrier. So he does the hot shoeing. He takes the shoes, shapes them nicely, hot shoes them to the foot, which means that you burn away any excess horn that is left that you kind of need to get away. And then Ian today was the person who put his shoes on, and then someone finishes them again, so clenches all the nails, closes the holes from the last time, etc., etc. So this is what goes into a horse's feet being done. This gets done about every 6 weeks in the Western Cape, in Cape Town. Johannesburg, when I lived there, we did them every 5 weeks. It just depends on the weather and the temperature and the ground and all of that. So I think the important thing that I had to learn when I moved down to Cape Town was to trust the farrier. You know, these guys work in Cape Town, they know the horses in Cape Town, and they wouldn't on purpose do something that would harm your horse's feet. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe, and if you think a friend of yours could use this, share it on. If you've got any questions, queries, comments, please use the comment section below. If you want to see any other videos, please let me know, and we'll see you for the next one. Bye! Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and buzz the bell. En onthou, kyk noord toe.